implicit wait and explicit wait. And we came to a conclusion that implicit wait works for element and element.all. Okay, but it mainly works for element, and sometimes it works for element.all. In similar way, explicit wait works for a particular condition, like till the condition gets satisfied, till that particular time explicit wait waits there. If once the condition is satisfied, then it moves on to the next line. But if the condition is not satisfied within the given time limit, then it will fail, saying that timeout exception. Okay, so this is what yesterday we were saying, and we were using different methods of explicit wait. So do you guys have any doubt in this yesterday's part?
No problem.
Okay, but please try with the explicit wait. It is really important.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, fine. So yesterday I was talking explicit wait, right? So there is a condition like you may have a negative scenario, like if this particular element is present, I don't want to wait, or something like if this element is not present, then only perform something. So previously we were telling like if username is present, then click the logout, right? So that's what we were yesterday we were saying, like the positive way, like if this is present, then click this particular button. Now there will be situations like when this particular username is not present, then only click the logout button. So there is such cases also. So when you have such kind of cases, what you need to do is like after expected condition. So I hope you guys know that we are using the alias, okay, here. Okay, that's why expected condition has become easy. Here you have a method called not. Okay. Just give me a second. I thought like you guys were able to see. Where is it? Now you should be able to see it. Are you guys able to see the screen now?
Yes, we were able to see.
Yeah. So now when we have a negative scenarios, are this is also kind of a scenario normally you will have. So in such cases, what you can do is you can use a not operator. Not operator. It's actually not a property. Okay. So this is also a kind of a property present in expected conditions. So yesterday we were saying like wait till the present of that particular element with a given time limit of 30 seconds. Okay, we will wait 30 seconds for that particular element. If it is not present by the time, then it will fail. So what happens if it is hidden? Will it wait or will it move on? It moves on because the particular element is present in the HTML. Here we are not checking for the whether the particular element is displayed on the page or not. Okay. So as I was telling earlier, you may have a scenarios like if this is not present, then only do this one. Okay, so in such cases what you can do is use the not property, not. Sorry, one minute. So you have to give a condition in such a way that it accepts it. Basically not is a method and it accepts one more expected condition. Okay, a method from the expected condition. So here what we are doing is like we are waiting for a element not to be present there. Okay, if it is present, then it will wait for 30 seconds. If it is not present, then it will move on to the next step. Okay, So are you guys able to get it? This part, like why we are using not?
Yes, bro.
Okay, fine now. So this is all about our timeouts. So let me remove this not part. Let me create one more spec, which is for timeouts. So guys, any idea what is the major difference between timeouts and awaits? Just one major difference.
Like for example, page load timeout. If you give 30 seconds, then that is a maximum time it will wait. If within the time it is on, then it will throw exception.
Yes, Sanjay, that is right. So both are used for the same purposes, but this particular waits are used for waiting for some particular status. Okay, but timeouts are intentionally given to fail a particular test. Okay, this is the major difference. Like waits is for waiting for something, and timeouts is for failing something. Okay, I'll copy the same code. I'll change it to timeouts. There are few timeouts. So as of now, ignore the implicit wait and remaining waits. So we have first one as page load timeout. Basically, this particular page load timeout is used for whenever you are loading a page, okay, using browser.get. Okay, in that time we are waiting or we are giving a particular time for the page to load. If that particular page is not loaded in the given time, then automatically this particular script fails. Okay, for example, let me open a website called, not a website actually, we can do it here itself. Just go to inspect and networks. Okay, when you are in this particular part, so when you open google.com, so you will see all the elements going to be downloaded. Okay, here. Okay, till these things are loaded or till the major part is loaded, it will be considered as the page is not loaded. Okay, so if it is not loaded, then we will not be able to perform the operations. So it's something like for checking the performance of the first page. Like you are opening a page, if it is not opening in 5 seconds, then we might want to fail it. We might not write it in everywhere, but we will write it for a specific test cases somewhere. Okay, like this particular thing should be opened within a given time. So by default, protractor gives 10 seconds as the default timeout. Okay, so you can set it in a describe block like browser dot manage dot timeouts dot page load timeout. Okay, so we have to provide the time also in milliseconds. For example, I'll provide like 30 seconds. So I want to ask you guys, like I wanted to explain it previously itself, but somehow I didn't explain it. Okay, so here we are having a manage as a method. Browser is the object and we are calling a manage as a method. Okay, again we are calling one more method on a method timeout. Okay, so on this timeouts again we are calling a page load timeout. So any guess how this one works?
ELT is like a maybe that variable is storing in that.
So consider like there are non-static methods. Okay, we are creating a non-static methods. So how you can call a non-static method normally?
By creating objects.
Okay, so yeah, Sanjay, go on.
Non-static creating object.
Sanjay, could you adjust your mic actually little, or unplug your thing and then insert it? Or it's something like a robot voice. Sanjay?
I think some issue. Is it disturbing?
Not disturbing actually. When you talk, no, it comes like with the echo. So are you able to hear the same thing, Loka? Or is it I'm the only one?
Yes, I'm getting some disturbance from the
Yeah, it's
Sanjay.
okay. It's okay, Sanjay. You can explain. We'll try to understand. Yeah, go on.
No, I was telling. We create an object for non-static object.
Yes. So we will create an object for that one. But how come we are accessing different methods? So we will be calling these methods from the object. But how we are calling multiple methods? Okay. So let me explain because it is a bit tricky part. I wanted to explain when we are using this implicit weight itself, but somehow I didn't get that idea to explain it. Okay. So consider we have this particular class, or we can consider any other class also. Okay. Now I am making this particular method into a static method. Sorry, non-static method. Click element is the non-static method now. Can I write another classes? Okay, something like export class, something like X.
Pawan, it is like I've seen like a system.out.println. Maybe we are storing the object of some class into another class, and we are calling that
Yes,
object.
yes. So it is a similar way only, not similar way. It's the same only. So let's see how this one works. Okay. So it is like system.out.println. Yes.
Okay, Pawan. Yeah.
Okay. So we have another class called XYZ, and let me create one more class. Okay, which is called as ABC. Okay. Now in the XYZ class, I want to create a method called. So we have manage timeouts and implicit wait, right? So I'll create a method called manage public manage. Okay. Now I create one more method called timeouts inside class ABC. Okay. Now consider like we have one more method inside this particular sum operation saying that it is implicit wait or page load timeout. Okay, this is not the exact thing, but I'm trying to explain like how it is actually. Okay, how they have created it. Okay, the first thing we wanted to access ABC. Sorry, we wanted to access XYZ. Okay, as first one from the manage browser.manage. Then we want to use this timeouts, and then we want to access this page as third element. Okay, so if you see this one, so if you see here, you guys will be able to see this particular line of code like manage timeouts page load timeout. Okay, now page load accepts something. Okay, we'll say something like x number or a milliseconds as a number. Okay, now I want to just in a normal way. So how can we call any non-static method? By creating an object, right? So can I call this particular manage by creating object to XYZ? Yes. Go ahead, guys, because this is not actually necessary with the protractor, but it's kind of a bit of informational thing. That's it. Okay. Now let's create something like let the class name is XYZ, right? XYZ equal to new XYZ. Okay. Now I have created XYZ. Now again from XYZ, can I call manage? I have created a manage. So how can I call this timeouts now? Can I create an object to ABC? Okay. So let's create object to ABC. Let ABC equal to new ABC. ABC dot timeouts. So how can I call this one, the page timeout? Can I create object for sum operation so that we can access it? Let sum equal to new sum operation, and then again we have to call that particular method page load timeout with something like 33 seconds. Okay. So now I was able to create this particular, I was able to call this particular method from the object of some new operation, right? So basically, if you want to call this method, you need this object. If you don't have object, then you cannot call it. So instead of using a dot sum, can I make it something like this one? Like this? Can I make it something like this one? Will it give the same result or a different one?
It will be the same.
Okay. So basically, it's not about the variable, it's always about the object, right? So what is the return actually? What is the return value? What you call a return value? So return is something like either it could be a control or a control along with a value. Okay, a method can return anything like just a control, which is a void. Normally we say if it returns just control, but if it returns some other thing, then we will call that particular return is a return type with return type. Something like it returns a string. Can I write in this timeouts? Can I return something like loca? Can I return? And TypeScript will take care of this particular inferring, like what kind of return we are going to return. So you don't have to return anything, write anything for return type. So we can write a string. Okay. For example, loca we have created. Can I send 45 as a number?
Yes, you can do it. You can send anything.
Yes. Now, can I, for example, can I, what? Okay, so we can write anything here, right? So for example, consider, can I write here also the same thing like a return 45 inside the manage method?
Yes or no, you can write.
Okay, Sanjay, don't worry. We will not skip anything. We'll go on only. Even if you don't ask, I'll continue like whatever the things we required. Okay. So we can return everything in every method. So instead of returning this 45 or a loca or Sanjay or anything, can I return an object in with the return?
Yes, Tom.
Now here consider like I want to call this timeouts on the manage. right? Because here we are trying for browser.manage .timeouts.page load timeout, right? So can I write something like this? Return new ABC,
Yes, Pawan, you can.
right? Now let me go to this particular manage. So with the manage method, we are able to return something, okay, which is the object of ABC. This particular part we are able to return. So can I write something like this one? New ABC dot timeouts.
Yes, Pawan.
So what this particular manage method returns? New ABC, right? So here if you see, it returns new ABC. It's an object. Now, can I call the same method on this one, on manage? Because it returns new ABC.
Pawan, okay, right. Yes.
Okay. Now remove this part. Similarly, can this timeout return this particular sum operation? Something like this one.
Yes, Pawan.
Now we are able to return that one. Can I call page load timeout here? Right now it will work, because what we are doing is like we are creating a new objects, and we are basically chaining the objects, and then we are calling the methods. Basically every method returns some kind of object. Okay, so similar to this one, they have formed this particular statement. So are you able to get the idea like how this particular statement works, the method works? Not the internal part, but the outside, like how it could be chained.
Yes, Pawan, I got it. Like this manage is it's creating the objects of the timeout, and the timeout have that object of the page, and we are returning finally.
Yes. So it could be the same way or a different way, but you are able to get the idea, right? Like
But
this is
we are
how.
storing the object in that method, and we are returning that object. Is that correct? Pawan?
Right. Yes. Actually, we are not storing that object. We are just returning.
Okay, okay, Pawan. Yeah, got it.
Okay. Because we are not storing it in a variable. So we are
Okay.
just worried about only return.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's run this code and see like what happens. But before that, just make sure you are on the compilation mode. Okay. The compilation still is going on from yesterday. Okay, now let's run this one and see like whether how it works, okay, it should click the checkbox and it should go well. But just give me a minute. So basically we have to use it along with the Angular pages. So let me change this particular to angular.io. Okay, so let's run it for 30 seconds. We are giving the max timeout of 30 seconds. It's trying to open the browser. Okay, we are trying somewhere click operation. Sorry, actually we are running a different one. So let's run this particular file. Actually, we have left it with yesterday's one. Okay, now let's run it. So it was not able to find this particular element. Okay, so because we were running that particular element in our page, but in Angular page it is not there. Let's rerun it. So it's a pass. So we have one spec and 0 failures. One spec is 1 hit block. Okay, now let's make this 30 seconds into like just 3 milliseconds. Okay, we want to fail it. So that's why we are giving just 3 milliseconds. So we got our result. It got failed, saying that timeout. Okay, so it was not able to load within the given time. So we are receiving the timeout exception. Okay. Now you understood like how this particular method works and why this method we are using with protractor, right? So it is always to check like the performance of the web page, like how much faster it loads, or is there any deviation in the loading speed. So for that purpose, we will be using page load timeout, because it is something like Loka, I'm sorry, if a page takes like more than 10 or 20 seconds, we can wait for a max of 30 seconds. But if it continues to take a time continually, like it's taking like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, it continues. If it continues at a certain point, we want to terminate that particular it block. Okay, so for that reason, we will be using page load timeout. Okay, so any doubt on page load timeout?
Pawan, but a default timeout is 10, right? Again, it will increase to 10 more seconds again.
No, it will not be increased to 10 more seconds. It will be like this much only, like 3 seconds. But if you want to use it a different one with a different hit block, then you have to set it actually. Now consider like I have set it for total describe block. So if I want only for this particular block, then again I have to set it back to like some amount. Okay.
Okay.
So there sometime you might get a confusion like, so every person gives a different one. So how come we can control it? Any idea how come we can control it? So the simple way would be like you define this particular value in one place and use this value. Okay, rather than giving in every single place.
Yeah.
Okay, and similar way, shall we able to create a method for this particular part itself, like page load timeout, and accept the parameter in the milliseconds, and then
Yes.
perform this operation, right?
Yes.
So that is one thing we have to do normally when we create, wait,
Yeah.
because in tomorrow if you want to change that, like now everywhere they have given like 40 seconds, but now you want to reduce to 20 seconds. If you use this way, like everywhere you are giving this page or timeout and then time, then it will be like difficult. But if you have used it in one method, what you can do is like divide the given value by 2 and then provide that particular value to this particular method. right? So it will be reduced, or you can divide by 3, or you can give a standard timeout for on your own itself by ignoring that particular input value. Okay.
Okay.
So that is all with page load timeouts. The second timeout would be Selenium server. Okay. So here, if you see, I hope you guys will be able to see this part. So here we'll start the Selenium standalone server. Okay. Basically, it has a jar file. If you ask where this jar file is present, I can showcase it. So it will be like Control R. Go with the app data, or in a local folder also it will be present. Go to npm repository, and inside npm go to node modules, and then protractor, and then go to bin. Sorry, not bin actually. Again to node modules inside the protractor. Now you can search for WebDriver manager. Okay. So in this one, go to Selenium. Here you have all your Chrome drivers, Gecko driver, and your Selenium server standalone jar file. Okay, so this particular file will be invoked by protractor. Okay, then only your browser opens, and then this file and the browser gets connected. Okay, so but here also you can give the specific time for this particular jar to invoke. Like if this jar is not invoked within a specified time, then fail the scripts. Something like if it's not invoked within 10 seconds, then I want to fail it because it will be some performance issue, or it might not start at all. Okay, so there will be such cases. So in those also you can give, but you have to give it in your export statements. Okay, export block inside your conf file. Okay, so it is something like Selenium server. Okay, just give me a minute because even I don't remember. I have it here somewhere. Selenium server start timeout. Equal to time. Okay, so now this one also accepts in milliseconds. Basically, this one is for invoking that particular jar file. Okay, if it is not invoked within given time, then we can fail the test. Okay, now here I'm giving like 10 seconds, and now go here and make it to 30 seconds, or we can remove it altogether. No worry. Okay, now we are trying to open the browser, and then we want to load this angular.io, but I have given only 10 milliseconds, which is impossible for Selenium to open the jar file. So let's see whether it fails or not. So it failed, saying that timeout waiting for the WebDriver server. Are you able to see the error here?
Yes.
So this is the error we got because it was trying, but we are giving just milliseconds, right? That's why it failed. So now let's give it to 10 seconds and try rerunning it. Within 10 seconds, if it is not opening, then it will fail.
Pawan, what is the default time to throw out the error? This Selenium server start timeout?
It's 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
It's 10 seconds only, I guess. Yeah, 10 seconds only. Okay, so 10 seconds it was able to open it. Okay, now let's give like not 10 seconds, just give 1 second and try to execute. So again it failed because it was not able to bring up that particular jar file server within a second. Okay, so most of the time we will not be using this Selenium server start timeout because it will be like only once per execution. So by default they will give like maximum of 60 seconds. Just remember, they'll give like 60 seconds for this particular block, Selenium server start timeout. Okay, any doubt on this one, Loka and Sanjay?
No phone. Yeah, that's fine.
Oops, not invite. Okay, and they also has no doubts. So we have we have seen two timeouts. One is page load timeout, and second one is Selenium server start timeout. Okay, so the next timeout is all scripts timeout. All scripts timeout. So all scripts timeout is nothing but normally you will write a then block. Consider like you are just trying to retrieve a title. So the next one we are seeing is like all scripts timeout. So whenever we have a promise, something like get title, then we are writing then block inside that function. Sanjay, could you reconnect again? Yeah, it's okay now. It's okay. It's okay. It's not echoing. Okay. So we have this particular then block. Okay. So when we want every then block to take only a certain time, if any then block takes more than a given time, then if we want to fail, then we will be using all scripts timeout. Okay. So this is also will be given in config file. Okay. All scripts timeout. Okay, so this one also accepts in seconds. Okay, just let me make sure like it's the same spelling. Yeah, so it is all scripts timeout and it accepts in seconds. The normal time is like 10 seconds, the default timeout. So every timeout in the Jasmine and the protractor is having a default timeout of 10 seconds. Okay, now I'm giving like 10 milliseconds, and you can think like this will take more than 10 milliseconds, right? It will take more than 10 milliseconds. Now let's run it and see like whether the script is fails or not. We should have failure now by now. So here it was able to execute before 10 milliseconds. It's kind of a thing to me also. So let's make this then block to take more than 10 milliseconds. How to make it? Any guess?
Go for sleep.
That's it. Browser.sleep like 5 seconds. It's waiting. Okay, it seems like the thing is different one. Let me make sure like whether we have the right naming. So let me Google it because I'm getting confused a little.
It is for not for the promise, that it is for entire block, right? All script demo.
No, it is not for all scripts. It's not actually for the blocks. For blocks, we have one more. Okay,
It's
so
for
that
only,
one, yeah, this is for then block only. And you were saying like the default timeout interval. Okay, not here. So if you have any doubts, something like how many parameters are present or something like, just visit GitHub's config file. Okay, this is the actual official config file. It will have all the options and with the details. Let's search for all scripts timeout. Okay, now let's hide it. Okay, I'm adding 10 seconds, but does it come with the browser? Okay, so it comes without the browser itself. Let's try to run it again and we'll see. Okay, something is missing, so I'll see like what's the issue. Okay, so as of now we'll move on to the next timeout. Okay, so the next timeout is, as you asked, it is for a Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine node opts. Okay, so far we were seeing only for protractor timeouts. Okay, now we see like what are the timeouts present in Jasmine. Okay, so we will be using only one timeout, which is like default interval timeout. Okay, for example 30. Okay, we are trying to take like only 30 milliseconds. Okay, just give me a minute, just got little doubt. Let me rerun it. Okay, fine. I thought like it is in seconds, but it's not milliseconds only. For timeout interval. Default timeout interval of 10 seconds. Okay, so this Jasmine node options provide this particular default timeout interval. Okay, so this particular interval is used for your eat block, the total time taken for your eat block to complete. Okay, if it takes more than the given time, then it fails that particular eat block. So we are giving 10 milliseconds. Now let's execute and see whether it fails or it just passes. Opening the browser. So our test case got failed. It says like the timeout async callback was not invoked within given timeout. So here you can see like default Jasmine default timeout interval issue. Okay, if I give like more than the given time, so for example, this is the it block we have. Okay, so that particular default timeout interval is applicable for it blocks only, not for the described blocks. Okay, so shall we calculate something roughly like it will take like 6 seconds and it will take like another 5 seconds. Let's make it to 12 seconds. Okay, and rerun the code. Now the total it block should be able to complete within 12 seconds. If it is not completing within 12 seconds, then the test should get failed. It's loading. Five seconds of sleep. Now it passed. It took total of 11.764 seconds. Okay, and we have given the maximum time as 12 seconds, right? So the case is passed now. So any doubt on default timeout interval? And do you have any doubts like why we are using Jasmine node options?
This is for each it block, right?
Yes, every it block.
Okay.
Okay, so there is one more way. Okay, just give me a moment. I have seen it long back. Like you can customize it for every single it block. Just it was like long back, so I was not able to remember how the thing is present. It will be something like we will be writing one more method here. Done. Not here actually. Okay, so whenever we invoke this particular done, then only it will be like whenever we provide this done inside the function, then we have to return this done. So once we return, it will be passed or it will be failed. Set. Okay. Okay, just give a second. I'll search it in the net itself. Fine. So we can set it here itself. Here we can set the total timeout. Okay, so in protractor we are giving for all the it blocks. Okay, some it blocks takes more time and some it blocks takes less time. In case if we decide like this it block should take only this much time, but remaining it blocks can take the given time in the protractor, then what we have to do is we have to provide the time here. Okay, I'm giving 5 seconds. Now the test should fail. I guess we have not given right way. No, we have not given right way. Yeah, it got failed and it took 12 seconds, more than 12 seconds. It got failed because of the other one, not because of this one. So as of consider, like we can use this one with protractor conf. Tomorrow I'll tell you like how to do it for a single test block and along with this all scripts timeout. Okay, so any doubts on today's class?
No problem.
Okay, okay, fine. So there is one more thing like wait, highlight, delay or something. Okay, with the protractor, but it doesn't work actually. It is still in experimental stage. Like they use this particular wait for like highlighting the element, but now it is not working with current versions of protractor. In future it may help, but it has no use with the waitings or with the timeouts. Okay,
Okay.
so that's all today, and tomorrow let's see like what to bring. Like actually I was referring my own video for the thing. Shall we see JavaScript executor tomorrow?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, JavaScript executor, and one more topic we'll see like drop downs, how to handle drop downs. Okay, so just go through like how to handle drop downs in protractor. Okay, tomorrow we'll see, but just get an idea of drop downs, but we will discuss it tomorrow. One thing you need to remember with protractor is there is no thing called as a select class, okay, which is present in Selenium, like to handle the drop downs. Okay, so we'll see like JavaScript and handling drop downs tomorrow. So that's all for the day, guys. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
have a good night. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Thanks.